Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Sonaltendag, and I am the Senior Marketing Manager here at Kids & Company. Thank you all for joining us today for today's webinar. We would like to welcome Brainpower instructor, I should say, Dr. Cassandra Chapman. She is from Brainpower, and Brainpower is an after-school enrichment program that caters to the needs of high-achieving students. Today, Dr. Chapman will emphasize the importance of building a strong network, developing strong communication skills, contributing to the community, and becoming a dedicated student for competing for university. So we are so thrilled to have her join us today. If you have any questions throughout the session, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and we will ensure that your questions will be addressed at the end of the session. So over to you, Dr. Cassandra Chapman.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to Kids & Company for inviting us to do this webinar. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm just going to share my screen. There are some slides, and they will also be sent to you after this talk, so you're welcome to look at them later as well. Okay. Okay, so let's get started, and feel free to ask questions throughout. We'll be paying attention to the chat and to the Q&A. But yes, it's my pleasure to be talking to you all about how to prepare for university admission from an early age. And there's going to be a few polls throughout the talk, so please do participate in those, so that you can kind of see what you already know about this, and then maybe what you can learn for helping your child to succeed in university. Maybe it's next year, or maybe it's 10 years from now. Okay. Okay, so my colleague, Dr. Kareen, was not able to make it due to technical difficulties. So I'm going to be giving this talk, but she sends her best wishes, and you're welcome to reach out to her if you have any questions as well. Our emails are listed here. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Dr. Cassandra Chapman. I am an instructor at Brainpower. I am also the headmaster of the Hamilton and Oakville locations of Brainpower. And I've been working at Brainpower teaching high potential kids for over 5 years. And I just love being in the classroom, and I love teaching kids, and I love hearing from them when they have finished our programs and when they've gone on to university or gone on to even high school, and they're being in touch with me. It's amazing. I love it. Okay. So to begin, it doesn't hurt, right, to talk about our students and how successful they have been. We're super proud of our alumni. So I've just put up a few pictures here of, what our students look like. We do teach students in grades 1 to 12, high potential students. We get some students in grade 1, and we teach them all until grade 12. And, we really pride ourselves on that. Okay. So today I'm going to showcase a few of our alumni who have done many programs with us and have either now have jobs in industry or are currently in university, and they have credited many of their successes to our programming. So this is Jane. Jane is a software engineer at Microsoft in the United States. She completed a University of Toronto engineering degree. And as you can see here, she has lots and lots of achievements, awards, and other scholarships. You can kind of read them there. But what's super impressive about Jane is she started a developer student club in Toronto. And this was the first Toronto chapter of that global teaching initiative. And these developer student clubs, or DSCs, are university-based community groups for students that are supported by Google developers and Google and help develop technologies. And so since developing that group and graduating from the U of T, Jane has gone on to become a software engineer at Microsoft in the United States. And she did many programs with us, really learned a lot from our instructors and from her fellow colleagues. This is one of our alumni. Ernest Ma is another one of our alumni. So Jane is an engineer, software engineer. Ernest is pursuing a career in business. So he's currently a student at UCLA. and in business economics. And he did graduate from UCC, from Upper Canada College, and he would like to pursue a career in business management. And he also has many, many, many achievements. And most recently, he's a Sharp Fellow last year, 2 years ago now, in 2021. And this is a designation that's given to the top business majors at UCLA. So quite an achievement. He also founded or co-founded a international software company. And Ernest took a lot of our public speaking classes at Brainpower, and he credits, his ability to speak well, to speak highly, from taking those courses at an early age, right? Learning how to public speak, how to be persuasive, at an early age. Developing that confidence. So I'll talk more about the public speaking later, and why we think it's really important to help prepare your children for university. You can actually start public speaking at grade 4, so it doesn't have to wait until high school. Okay, and our third alumni that I'd like to profile is Ron. So Ron is currently pursuing a master's degree in biomedical discovery and commercialization at McMaster University. He recently graduated from his Bachelor of Health Sciences. And Ron has, during his undergraduate degree, he founded, and he is the CEO of a company called Emerge Connect, which if you want to look at it, look for it later, you'll see there's a recent news article out of McMaster about Emerge Connect. They've recently been able to raise quite a bit of money from investors, and they've been really, really well supported, because what they're trying to do is reduce wait times at hospitals. It's a pretty incredible achievement, what he's been able to do, and he's pursuing that right now. He won the Lions Lair pitch competition at the Innovation Factory, which is an organization in Hamilton, through the McMaster Innovation Park. He's also a musician, so he is well-rounded. He does all kinds of different things, and he's currently, as I said, pursuing his master's degree, but also running this company on the side, and it's doing very, very well. And we're super proud of him and what he's been able to accomplish. And we can't wait to see Emerge Connect, this app to help reduce wait times in hospitals. We can't wait to see it, be more accessible for everybody. That would be incredible. Okay. So many of our alumni are also pursuing medical degrees. Here are some of their photos. Some of our students have graduated. Some of them are currently in med school. And as you probably know, pursuing a career in medicine is super worthwhile. It's also super competitive. And our students have credited their background in our programs, with helping them achieve some of their success. So I'm happy to speak about some of these medical professionals or future medical professionals later. And many of them are also profiled on our website. So these are some of our alumni. We're always so proud of them, so we just like to give them a shout out. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about how to prepare your child for university admission success. And I just wanted to, draw your attention to the fact that, our students have gained university admission to Canadian and also international universities, as well as many scholarships. If you're interested in learning about any of them, we have all of their success stories on our website. I've put a link here, and I'll also be sharing these slides after the talk, so you can have a look later. Yeah, we're always very proud of that. So we're actually going to start with a little bit of a poll. I want to get your feedback. What age do you think students should begin to prepare for university admissions? So Sarah put this poll up for us. There are 3 options. Do you think it's at age 9 and under? Do you think it's between ages 11 and 13? Or do you think age 14 to 16? Now, what age do you think we should be preparing our kids for university admission? Give you about half a minute, 30 seconds to respond to that poll, and then I can speak to that. Okay, I don't know, Sarah, if we can see if everybody has had a chance to respond, if we could see the responses.
Yep, here we go. I'm going to
Okay,
share the
amazing.
results right now.
Ooh, okay, awesome. So we have a little bit of a split here. Oh, it's interesting. 50% of the respondents are saying the older age category between ages 14 through 16. And then about 33% of our respondents are saying 11 to 13, and then they're but just under 20% are saying 9 and under. So I'm going to speak to this through the tips I'm going to provide for helping your child prepare for university admissions. But I would say in this scenario, it really depends. It doesn't hurt to start early, for sure. It doesn't hurt to start preparing your child for how to be a stronger communicator, how to be an effective communicator from a very early age. You also want to consider, you certainly, definitely 14 to 16, we want to be thinking about university, what kinds of programs are we interested in? Because when we choose our courses, right, in grades 9 and grades 10, that can actually, affect the other courses that the students are going to take in their upper year of high school, and that will affect which programs they can apply to for university. So certainly that's going to be really important. If you're interested in applying to particular private schools, for example, you're going to want to be considering that a little bit earlier. What kind of preparation can we do to help our child be successful? But I'm going to speak to kind of each of these and what you can be doing at each age to help your child really prepare for that. Okay, so thanks very much for your responses. Okay, I actually have another poll right away. So this is a true or false. Okay, so do you think community citizenship and demonstration of commitment to academics matters for university admission? True or false? Does that matter? Okay, so the poll's up now. Is it true or false? Do you think it matters? Do you think it's going to have an effect on your applicant's success? Maybe 10 more seconds to vote on that poll, and we'll see. And I'll have some tips to share. Okay, Sarah, I don't know if everybody has responded, but oh, amazing. Okay, so majority of our respondents are saying true. Community citizenship and demonstration of commitment to academics matters. It does matter, but we're going to talk about what this looks like, right? Academics is not only grades, okay? So we're going to talk about what that looks like. Oops. Okay. So university admissions planning really begins early. It begins, earlier than you might expect. So how can you help your child prepare for university admissions from an early age? So the first tip I'm going to provide is that we should be encouraging our children to contribute to the community. So universities are looking for engaged citizens who contribute to their community. This is something that universities are looking for in those applications. So what can you do to help your child prepare for this? Really, we should be encouraging our kids to start taking on leadership opportunities in their extracurricular activities. So finding things that our kids are super passionate about, right? Are they already in a sport? Are they already interested in Model UN? Are they already interested in, in a particular, charity, or are they really passionate about something in their community? Can they use that to their advantage, right? And also help the community. So we can really help our kids stand out in their applications by encouraging them to pursue their passions. So perhaps they've noticed that their school clubs don't have a club that they would love to be a part of. Can they found a new school club? Can they join student council if that's a possibility, depending on their age, right? Can they be a part of student council at their school? Can they volunteer? Volunteering is so important. And so, you're going to learn so much, right, from being a volunteer through a cause that's really meaningful. Again, it has to be something that the student is really interested in, that's really meaningful to them, right? Because that's how they're going to commit to that contribution, right? And to commit to that cause. Could they found an organization outside of school? So some of our students have done this. They found something that they were really passionate about, and then they founded their own organization outside of school. So finding ways for your child to contribute to the community, and that is something that they can certainly add onto their university admissions. And notice that these are also ways in which they're going to show leadership. Right? They have founded the school club. It was their idea. They're the leader, right? If they're joining student council, that's an initiative, right, that they're taking, and that they can later speak to that in their applications. Okay, so that's our first tip. Our second tip is about committing to academics. So I know that academics, grades are important. Earning strong grades is really, really important. But universities are looking for more than that, right? They're looking for students who are really committed to their learning. So of course, you're showing commitment to your learning if you're earning, strong grades in the classes, and you have a strong report card. However, you can do a little bit more, right? You could encourage your child to apply to extracurricular and enriched programs that are led by universities in Canada and beyond. So there are lots and lots of opportunities, especially over the summer and over school breaks, where universities in Canada and also universities in the United States are offering extracurricular enriched programming that you have to apply to. So it's competitive. You'll have to prepare that application. And this will allow your student to pursue a passion, to pursue an interest that's outside of school, but still academic, right? They can look into the STEM field, they can look into the arts, they can look into business, right? What are they interested in? How can you foster that interest, right? And really show that they're really committed to their academics beyond what they're doing in their academic school life, right? So like I said earlier, summer programming is excellent. It's a great time to pursue those opportunities. We do need to pursue those opportunities fairly early, right? There are applications that need to be filled out. This is just a great way that they can commit, and they can add that again to their university admissions and show their passion, right? Show what they're really interested in. Okay, that's our second tip. So 2 tips so far. All right, I have another poll here. I would like to see what you feel familiar with. So this statement, I am familiar with programs and ways for my child to demonstrate their academic commitment and access volunteer opportunities. Do you feel as though you're familiar with those options in your community and beyond? So yes or no? Okay. Thank you so much for your honesty. We really appreciate that honesty. So seems like some of our audience members are familiar with those opportunities, and many of you are not. That is totally fair, right? There are lots and lots of opportunities out there. We just have to become familiar with them, and we can help you with that. So actually in our programs at Brainpower, we actually tell our students about these opportunities. We send it to our families as well. And so I can share some of those opportunities with you a little bit later. I'm also happy to answer questions via email about some of those opportunities. But it would depend on, of course, the child's age and the child's interest and availability as well, of course. Okay, amazing. Okay, our third tip is to participate in competitions. Okay. Why? I mean, I think the why here, is simply because these are accomplishments, right? These are accolades that are only going to help the student's application, right? If they participate in a competition and do really, really well, that's amazing. They can put that on their application, right? They can put that on their resume. They can tell the university about it. So I would encourage my child, right? I would encourage you to encourage your child to apply to participate in as many competitions as they can, right? So these could be math competitions. These could be public speaking competitions, which there are a lot of for youth, a lot of public speaking competitions. Those applications, those competitions, right, may not only lead to these accomplishments and to these accolades, but they're also going to give your student an opportunity to work in a team, right, and to potentially take on a leadership role, right? They're showing initiative again, right? They're applying to a competition, they're participating. Sometimes there are team competitions as well, right, in which they'll be able to work in a team, and they again could take on a leadership role there. That's certainly not going to hurt. They can then speak to those experiences in interviews, right? So if the program that they're interested in eventually, will require an interview, or even if they're applying to a private school that will require an interview for high school or for middle school, they'll be able to speak to that experience. Okay. All right. Our fourth tip is about networking, which we know starts really, really early. So building your network is super important, and it's really never too early to build a network. So you've probably heard the phrase before, it's all about who you know. We believe that starts at a very early age. So, the way we can help our students with this is really to encourage our students to get out in the community and meet people, right? So by participating in those competitions, they're going to meet people, right? By volunteering for an organization that they're really passionate about, they're going to meet people. By, founding a club, right? Or founding an organization, they're going to meet people. It's certainly not going to hurt them. We would encourage you to encourage your student to talk to everybody, right? Including students who are older and have been in their shoes, right? We can really learn a lot from those who have gone on and had an experience that we are potentially interested in, right? It doesn't hurt to talk to those who have gone on before us and perhaps been admitted to a university that we are potentially interested in. I always encourage my students to pursue informational interviews. So if they're able to, they're in high school and if they're on LinkedIn, it doesn't hurt to get a LinkedIn profile as well, where they can, be connected with other people. There are many professionals out there who would be more than happy to speak to your student in what we call an informational interview, where they will speak to the student about their experiences. The student will have an opportunity to ask them questions. It's not going to hurt, right, to learn about someone else's experience. They're going to meet somebody new, and it's just going to help them build their network, right? Engaging in community events is also a way to build your network, right? Really getting out there, meeting new people, pursuing new experiences, and building that network from an early age. Okay, that's our fourth tip. Okay, I have a poll for you about that. I feel my child or my children are strong networkers and communicators. What do you think about that? Yes or no? While we're waiting for the responses, just a reminder that if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask those in the Q&A, and we're going to have time at the end to go through some of those questions. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your participation in that poll. Oh, I think that was number 3. Sarah, is this a new poll?
I think that I'm just trying to make sure I'm on the right question here.
I think this is question number 4.
Yeah, it is number 4, but I don't think it launched properly, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, so this one actually didn't. So we might have to just do like in the chat.
Okay, sure. Yeah, not to worry. No problem. No problem. Okay. If you feel as though your child is not yet a strong communicator or a strong networker, that's okay, right? There's lots and lots of opportunity out there for us to encourage them to do that. Okay. So this is related to our fifth tip, actually, which is to help your child develop communication skills. It's so important, right, to be an excellent communicator, to be a persuasive communicator, and you can develop those skills really early on in life. It's going to serve them in their academic career. It's also going to serve them, in, like, if they're in middle school right now, it will help them in high school, then it will help them in post-secondary, in graduate school, if that's where they're headed, and then eventually, in the workforce, right? It's certainly not going to hurt for them to have these really strong communication skills and to learn how to be a persuasive, not only speaker, but also writer, right? Communication is so important. So we would encourage you to encourage your student to really build that public speaking, build those persuasion skills with experience. So public speaking, and we have some programs that start as early as grade 4. We've seen a huge difference in students coming in, learning public speaking and really building that confidence, right? It's really, really important. And it's going to also affect their writing, right? So, if you're giving a speech, if you're learning how to be a strong public speaker orally, you're also going to have to be able to write that down, right? You're also going to have to be able to come up with that argument, to learn how to be persuasive. So it will also help them in their essay writing skills. Essay writing is really, really important. Another way they can develop their communication skills is taking on those leadership opportunities, right? So if they're taking on a leadership opportunity in a club that they're really passionate about, that's not going to hurt. They're also going to have to, be a leader in that community. They're going to have to persuade others of their point of view. If they want to take an initiative, right? If they want to take an action, they're going to have to certainly persuade their peers, right? And persuade their colleagues, persuade their other students. So super important to develop those communication skills from an early age. And there are all kinds of different ways you can do that. Okay. All right. I don't know if this poll is working, but let's try it and see. I feel my child knows what, quote, hot careers of the future exist and what academic pathways exist to access these career opportunities. So if they're interested in a particular career, do they know the pathway that is required to be able to eventually achieve that career? Do they know what the next steps are? So that would be a yes or no poll if we have it. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Has everybody had a chance to vote on that one? Okay. All right. Yeah, so it seems like most of you are saying that you don't think you don't at this point. That's not a big deal, right? We can certainly help our kids with this. Don't yet know what the career is of the future, right? What career they might be interested in, and what academic pathways exist to access those career opportunities. So yeah, we can certainly help with this. But really getting our kids, especially when they're starting out in high school, getting our kids to think about what career do you think you're going to be interested in? What programs are you potentially interested in? What courses are going to be required, right? What prerequisites from grades 9 and 10 are going to be required for you to be able to take, certain sciences, for example, in grades 11 and 12 that they're then going to need. You're going to need those prerequisites to apply to certain university programs of interest, right? We do need to be thinking about that from, early high school, even middle school, right? To really prepare our kids for those applications. Okay. So I'm going to summarize the 5 tips, and then I'll speak to you briefly about a program that we're launching, and then I will be very, very happy to answer the questions. I see that there are some in the Q&A. So here are the 5 tips to help your child prepare for university admissions from an early age. So the first tip would be to contribute to the community. And if we go back to the very beginning, when I asked you about what age you think your child should be starting to prepare for university, this can start anytime, right? Contributing to the community can start anytime. It doesn't even have to start at age 9, right? It could start even before that. There's no harm in, getting out in the community and help teaching our kids how to contribute. Of course, we're going to know more about their passions and their interests as they get older, and they're going to be able to pursue that more on their own and take their own initiative. But this can start anytime. The second tip is to commit to academics. Obviously, we want to make sure that our kids are working hard in school, they're doing their work, but we want them to do a little bit more than that, right? Pursuing extracurricular opportunities beyond school, right? Applying to those specialized programs if they're available to them, and seeing what else is out there, right? So there are some specialized programs over the summer in some United States universities, also in Canadian universities, that kids can apply to. They can take on that leadership opportunity, learn more, and they're really showing a commitment to an interest. The third tip is to participate, in competitions, right? These could be math competitions. These could be public speaking competitions. These could be computer science competitions, right? Whatever is out there and whatever they're really, really passionate about. Model UN, right? Model United Nations is so important, right? It's also a great way to practice your public speaking. So to show the initiative, right, to reach out, to actually participate in those competitions, to be willing to do that and to be eager to do that is only going to improve their applications. The fourth tip is to build your network, their network, right? So they need to build their own network. Get out there in the community, in their own community, right, in their school community, in their extracurricular community. Get out there, meet people, and build that network. They should not be afraid of talking to students who are a little bit older than them too. That's a great way to build one's network. The last tip is to develop communication skills, and this applies to both written communication skills and oral communication skills, right? Learning how to be a strong public speaker, also a strong writer, right? Super important. So in terms of how Brainpower can help support your child's university admission success, we have a couple of programs specifically for university admissions. Our first program is new. It's a pre-university preparation consultation, which is a one-on-one support program. So this program is primarily for students who are in early high school. Grades 9 and 10, and they're starting to think about, they should be thinking anyway, about the programs the courses that they're going to be selecting for later on in high school, and then eventually, of course, applying to university. So in this consultation program, they'll meet one-on-one with one of our instructors, who will, help them look through their resume, talk to them about their future careers of interest, about the university programs that they're interested in, and will help them kind of map out what courses we would suggest they take later on in high school to be able to be, super successful in applying to those university programs that they're interested in. Our second program is a workshop. It's a university preparation workshop. This could be for grade 11 or grade 12 students, but this is primarily for students who are applying to university. It's a group session where we have a session starting it's every fall. We have a session starting this fall in September, where we will go through lots and lots of details about the university admissions and help them with their applications. So there are more details about both of these programs on our website. And we have a special offer for Kids and Company's families. So if you would like to book either of these programs, the one-on-one pre-university prep consulting or the fall university prep workshop, you can receive a discount of 10% if you book by the end of March. Okay, so you can call our office to book that. In addition, we do have our other programs help with communication, of course, right? Our language arts programs are all about, writing and being persuasive. Same thing with public speaking. So if you're interested in any of those programs and what we do, I'm happy to speak to that. Okay, so I'll stop here and I would love to answer some questions.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into the Q&A.
Sure.
But we want to thank you, Dr. Chapman, because this was really informative, and we're really appreciative of your insight and how middle school students can begin preparing for university. It's so important. So let's just jump right into the Q&A. Awesome. Okay, so the first question is, where can you find these competitions to sign up for? So I think earlier on in your presentation, you had mentioned about competitions. So where can folks find these particular places to sign up for?
Amazing. That's a great question. So this would depend on what competition the child is interested in. So I can speak directly to the math competitions. So there are lots of math competitions out there. Some of them would be sponsored through your child's school. So your child's school would sponsor the child and help them apply to those. There are also like math Olympics competitions. So we actually currently have a math Olympiad program, a math champions program that we offer. And if a student is really passionate about math, this is a great program for them. And our instructor would help them apply to those competitions and kind of help them figure out which ones would be best for that particular student, and help them prepare for success in those. It's a great opportunity. I think I also mentioned public speaking competitions. So there are several of these as well. They depends on the time of year, but there are several public speaking competitions where a student would apply to give a speech. Sometimes they're thematic, depending on the competition, where they would be able to give a speech and compete, either based on the theme or based on other kids of the same age group. So when we find out about those, we often mention them on our website, or also in our post-class emails. But yeah, Speakers Idol is one that comes to mind.
Fantastic. Okay, so our next question is it too late to find any opportunity for a child in grade 11?
Is it too late in terms of, no, I would never say it's too late for a child in grade 11. A recommendation I would have for a student in grade 11 would certainly be a public speaking program. So we do offer a high school public speaking program. So the student would certainly not, be out of place there. They would be welcomed, and they could do really, really well with that program. So I would recommend that. We do have programs, our programs go from grades 1 to 12. So, students are always welcome to join. So for public speaking, that would be pretty straightforward. For the language arts or the math, our math programs, we do an assessment interview to make sure the child is placed in the right group. So our groups are based on level and ability. They're not based on grade level. So no, I don't think it would be too late. No.
Now, our next question is, do you have any tips or different approaches for kids that are homeschooled?
Oh, any different tips or approaches? I think the tips that we provided here would certainly, apply directly to a child who is also homeschooled. In fact, we do have some students who come to us who are also homeschooled. But in terms of some of the tips about founding a school club wouldn't apply, but certainly the child could found a club or found an organization outside of the home, right? Get out in their community. I would certainly encourage that, we welcome all students to our programs.
Fantastic. Now, do students from private schools have more opportunities than those studying in public schools?
Do students in private schools have more opportunities than those studying in public schools? No, I wouldn't say that necessarily. It would all depend on the school environment, of course. Our students at Brainpower are both we have public school students. We also have private school students. We provide the same opportunities to all of our students. Of course, we're happy to help them with any of their applications. So we do sponsor competitions as well. well. In fact, I can actually speak to one of these competitions that we just found out about. So it was a writing competition, poems or short stories, called Polar Expressions. And we recently found out, actually just this week, that many of our students were accepted to the Polar Expressions competition, and they're going to have their poems and their short stories published in a book. I can't wait to get the book. And that actually started in grade 1. So we had a grade 2 student, for example, was successful, and we also had some grade 5 and 6 students who were successful. So we are happy to sponsor those applications as well. But no, I would say, it would depend on the school, of course, in terms of their home school. It would depend on the school. We don't endorse any particular school, but we're happy to let you know what we know about different schools, depending on the location. I should put this as well. We have many locations for Brainpower, so we are familiar with the schools in each region, that we're happy to speak to those as well.
Fantastic. Now, does Brainpower offer any assistance with university application questions for certain courses?
For certain, okay, I'm not sure I understand the question. But we would, like if the student was enrolled in our university prep program, the instructor, we're always small group classes, so the instructor would talk to the student about the program that they're interested in, and they would certainly be able to speak to that. So they would help them with their application, depending on the program, and we could do some research on that along with the student. So we would be able to support. I hope I answered that question.
I think so too. What would you suggest to be the best place to locate volunteer opportunities?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I love it. What would be the best place to locate volunteer opportunities? Okay, I think here we should really start with our passions, right? What is the student really interested in? What would be a volunteer opportunity that they would stick with? Because it's also good to show commitment, right? So if they pursue a volunteer opportunity and they only stick with it for a short period of time, that's still great, right? It's still going to affect their application. It's still going to be impressive. But if they're able to stick with it a little bit longer, right, and eventually take on a leadership role, that's going to be even more impressive, I think. So I would, in terms of, I would say, like, what is the student really interested in? What are they really passionate about? Something that comes to mind is animals, right? Are they really interested in animals? Do they want, can they pursue, go to look at, animal organizations in their community, sanctuaries, for example? Would that be a place for them to volunteer? Is there a volunteer opportunity in their school? If they go to public or private school, is there an opportunity there? Is there an opportunity for a cause that they're really interested in, that they're really passionate about? Maybe your family is really passionate about something. That would be the one place that I would look, depending on their age, of course. Like if they're younger, then you as a parent, right, might have to also participate in that volunteer opportunity, which would be a great fun learning activity for the family.
Absolutely. And then do you know any competitions that are surrounded by like arts, like any art competitions that you're familiar with for children who are very into art?
Oh, like visual arts. Okay. I will say this is not my forte. I'm very jealous of my students who are very good at visual arts. I don't personally know too many off the top of my head, but I could certainly look into that. But maybe perhaps a good place to look for an art competition would be at like an art school, like a local art school. But yeah, if a student is passionate about visual arts, for sure they should pursue those opportunities. I'm more familiar with some of the academic competitions, but yeah, they should go for it. That's what I would say.
Now, are your courses online or in person?
Okay, excellent. So we do have a virtual school, and I put this on the slide here. We do have a virtual school. So almost all of our classes are offered online as well as in person. So for online, a question we often get, Is it like a live class? Yes, it's a live class every week at the same time for 2 hours with their instructor. We also have 4 campuses where we do in-person learning. So our headquarters is our Vaughan campus. We have a campus in Toronto. I'm actually currently at the Proserman JCC right now. We have a Oakville campus. We're operating out of Appleby College. This is actually a new campus. We just started a pilot program there. We're teaching a couple of courses, but we have a full course lineup in September, and I can't wait to see students there, since I'll be the headmaster of the Appleby campus, or the Oakville campus. And then we also have a campus in Hamilton, where we operate out of Hillfield Strathallan College. Yeah, so both. And you can look at all of our schedules are online for next year, for the summer as well. All of our schedules on our website. Just look under 2023, 2024.
Now, does Brainpower help students figure out what to study in university, and which university would be the best fit for the student?
Yes, this is a great question. So in terms of what they're interested in and what they should study, yeah, this would probably be a conversation for the pre-university program. If they're in high school, like if they're in early high school and they're starting to pick their courses, right? Select their courses for, grades 11 and grade 12. If they're even younger than that, we have lots and lots of instructors with lots of experience. So our instructors are PhD instructors from a wide variety of backgrounds. So if this is a conversation that your child is interested in having, we can certainly facilitate that. We have lots of opportunity for that. So this would depend on the age of the child. Sounds to me like this would probably be a high school student. So the pre-university program would probably be the best fit, because it's really a one-on-one specialized program for that particular student.
Another question is for the public speaking training. Is this conducted online or in person?
So our public speaking program, we have run some courses online, but primarily our public speaking academy, it starts in grade 4, is primarily taught in person. I'd have to double check our virtual programming for next year, but I believe most of our programming is in person, and we offer that at all campuses. So we have a program for grades 4 and 5, a program for grades 6 to 8, and then a grade 9+ program. Where they're really, honing in on those persuasive skills and learning the theory behind rhetoric. It's a full year program. So they start in September, they go until June. It's 34 lessons. They do lots and lots of different speeches, and learn about the techniques and apply those techniques and become really, really effective communicators.
Great. So now this one is related to your tip about a commitment to academics. How does this relate to grades?
How does it relate to grades? That's a great question. So in terms of how, showing those commitment to academics, pursuing those extracurriculars outside of school, at a Canadian university, at a US university, at some other organization that's offering these specialized programs. I mean, certainly sometimes they do require a particular grade point average. We do want our students, right, to do their best. We want them to achieve success. And I mean, of course, when they're applying to university, they will need a particular average depending on the program. So that's really important. However, if they're super interested, right, in math or in STEM fields or in the arts, right, and they can pursue something else on top of that, that's only going to help their application. Right? That's only going to, show that they're standing out, that they did something else beyond what they were doing in their classes. So of course, we certainly want our students to achieve high grades and to earn those grades. So it's not only about grades. Grades are important, but also pursuing beyond that is really important as well.
Now, what can parents do to help their children pursue these types of academic activities?
What can parents do? I guess what I would suggest for parents is to, if you've noticed that your child is really interested in a particular topic, in a particular subject, I would encourage them, right? So sometimes they're interested in subjects that are not the math or the English, right? So sometimes they're interested in history or in geography or in another subject. I would certainly encourage them, right? Really help to facilitate that topic, right? If they're really passionate, use that to your advantage as a parent, and encourage them, take them to museums, buy them the books, talk to them about it, and see if there's any opportunities out there. Something that comes to mind here is the Model United Nations, which if a student is really interested in history or in politics, right, this is a great way for them to cater to that experience, to cater to that interest, to that passion, but also they're going to develop their communication skills. They're going to develop their leadership skills. They might even get to travel, right? Some of these competitions are in other cities as well. There was one recently in Boston. So that would be a great way to really encourage that, to help facilitate that. And they're going to be, able to pursue that passion even more.
Do you have a location, like a campus in Chicago at all?
We do not have a location in Chicago right now. So that would be a virtual school. Our virtual school, like I said earlier, is our programs, they're live, they're online, they're super interactive, they're super engaging, they're still small groups. So thank you so much for your interest. But yeah, we would encourage you to look into our virtual school. The first step for any of our programs is to book an assessment with us for math or for English, to book an assessment with one of our admissions ambassadors. In that assessment, we will talk to your child, we'll talk to you about your interests, about your goals, and we will be able to place them in the program that we think would be the most successful for them.
Okay, and do you have any special courses or resources for children who are in immersion to use their French?
Oh, no, we do not currently offer any French programming. We do have students who come to us who are in French immersion, but no, our programming is all in English at this time.
Okay, now you also shared competitions. So this person never knew about academic competitions. So tell us more. Which ones would you recommend?
Okay, yeah, in terms of the academic competitions, so I'm primarily thinking about some of the math ones that we mentioned earlier. So those would be some academic competitions like the kangaroo, and there's lots of them. We have a bunch of them listed actually on our website under our Math Champions page. That was the Math Olympiad program I mentioned earlier. So we do have an instructor, a double PhD holder actually, who teaches that program and really helps prepare students for those competitions. And she would be able to recommend some of those to your students. Other competitions I'm thinking of are like writing competitions. Those would be also considered academic. So we have a list of those as well. So writing competitions that we will help your student with as part of our programs. And those happen all year round, and there's usually a deadline. So that's also really important, right? If your student is interested in a particular writing competition, they have to apply by a deadline. So making sure they get that in. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, some of our students were recently successful and they're going to be published authors at, grade 2, grade 5. That's pretty awesome.
Okay, so I'm just going to read off 2 more questions and then we'll have to say goodbye. But
Okay.
Does this program build confidence to do these competitions? Yeah.
Are we referring to the Math Champions program?
I think what this means is like it says, does the program build confidence for these competitions? So like
Yeah,
to be able to
yeah. So yes, for sure, right? Like if the student is part of the program and they're learning more about, those types of questions for those, like for the Math Champions, they're going to be building confidence for sure. Another competition would be public speaking, right? So
yeah, this is the one that they're referring to. They just wrote public speaking. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. For public speaking, yes. So part of our public speaking program is to help them build confidence in their own ability, right? To be a strong public speaker. So we do in our classes, we help the students write their speeches. We help help them learn how to give those speeches effectively using tools of rhetoric. They learn the history, they learn the theory behind it, like they learn about Aristotle, they learn about all that, and they learn why it's effective. Why is it effective to speak in a particular way? Why is it effective to use emotion in certain environments, to use logic in other environments? Why is credibility important? They learn all of that, and then they practice with their classmates, right? So they'll practice in a small group. They develop a lot of rapport with not only their teacher, but also their classmates, right? They're in the class for the whole year with a small group of students. They develop confidence. They develop that ability to be a strong public speaker. And then we do encourage them to pursue public speaking competitions. And, we'll help them with that, right? We'll help them so that they feel really confident when they get up on that stage and they give a speech for an audience that they haven't met before. Absolutely. That's part of our goal.
Fantastic. Okay, so our last question is basically it surrounds networking and communications. Okay. So these are skills a lot of our families will be familiar with as they are key skills we develop in the workforce. So how does this work out for teens?
Yeah, of course, right? We all know the importance of networking, the importance of communication once we enter the workforce. Our suggestion here is to start that just a little bit earlier, right? Developing that ability to network, that ability to communicate effectively with our peers and with our superiors, their teachers, other people, our bosses. Maybe if we have a job, eventually it's going to be really, really helpful for them in the long run. So in terms of networking from an earlier age, before they're even in university, like I had mentioned earlier, my suggestion here would be to pursue any and all opportunities, right? Are there any opportunities that they can pursue where they'll be able to meet new people and have to practice those communication skills, practice that networking? So this could be like, are they part of an extracurricular where there's an opportunity to meet new people? One thing that comes to mind right now is let's say they're part of an extracurricular where the extracurricular is going to have a booth at an event, and people are going to approach the booth and they're going to be asking them about it. That's a great way for them to practice their communication skills, and it's something that they're really interested in, right? So again, really pursuing those passions. If it's something that they're really interested in, I think they're going to be more likely, right, to want to continue with that. So finding ways to network. If they're willing and they're interested in a particular job, could they, approach somebody who has that job, who is a professional in that environment, like on LinkedIn or something like that. So I've seen more and more high school students creating LinkedIn profiles. That's great. It's a great way for them to meet people as well. Those would be some tips that I could provide, but there's lots of opportunity out there for sure.
Amazing. So thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Chapman. It's been really informative, and we're always so appreciative of the services Brainpower has to offer Kids and Company families. We would like to remind everyone that we will be following up with a recording of today's session and any other materials Brainpower has been able to share with us. So we want to thank you again, Dr. Chapman, for your time, and thank you everyone for attending this session today. So have a wonderful day all, and we will catch you in our next webinar on March 30th. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.